Welcome to The Explainer. So let's just dive right into this by acknowledging something we have all felt. You know that sudden pit in your stomach when you see a Slack message pop up that just says, "Hey, can we chat?" Yeah, that one. Whether it's about a performance issue, some messy workplace conflict, or delivering tough feedback, our natural human instinct is to literally run in the exact opposite direction. But today, we're going to map out a kind of hero's journey to help you completely overcome that dread.
Because we really have to ask ourselves, what is the true cost of avoiding these difficult conversations? We tell ourselves a story, right? We say we're just keeping the peace by staying silent. But the data shows the exact opposite is true. Avoiding these talks doesn't keep the peace at all, it actually destroys team performance. What happens is it breeds this deep, toxic resentment, usually because your absolute top performers end up burning out trying to pick up the slack, and that just drags down everybody's productivity.
There's a brilliant quote that hits the nail on the head. The killer for the effectiveness of any team is not conflict. It is apathy. When we avoid conflict, we fall right into a trap that's often called ruinous empathy. This is basically when you care personally about your team, but you totally fail to challenge them directly. Your silence might feel like the kind thing to do in the moment, but ultimately it ruins your team dynamics and it completely deprives your people of a genuine chance to grow.
But fortunately, we really don't have to rely on guesswork or just fly by the seat of our pants here. There's a concrete visual framework that shows us exactly how to turn that dread into compassionate, structured action that actually benefits everybody involved.
To completely transform how you lead, we are going to follow this super clear 4-step agenda today. Prepare the facts, be direct, listen actively, and finally, plan and follow up. All right, let's kick things off with step 1, prepare the facts. This is about crossing the threshold, and it's the internal prep work you absolutely have to do before you even step foot in the room.
So our first major hurdle here is separating our emotional assumptions from objective facts. When someone lets us down, our brains instantly start making up stories. We assume, we basically convince ourselves, oh, they're just lazy, or they aren't a team player. But those are emotional assumptions. To actually succeed, we've got to shift to objective facts. Things like, they missed 3 deadlines this quarter. If you bring emotions to the table, it instantly triggers defensiveness. But bringing facts, that keeps the whole conversation totally grounded in reality instead of resentment.
We also really need to understand that empathy and compassion are entirely different things from a psychological standpoint. Empathy is just sharing the suffering. You're taking on that emotion yourself. Compassion, on the other hand, is the intention to actually alleviate that suffering, and that's a game changer. We need to reframe this upcoming conversation not as some stressful confrontation, but as a compassionate, empowering act of kindness meant to spark mutual growth.
Moving right along to step 2, be direct, the confrontation phase. It is officially time to abandon that old, confusing compliment sandwich and really embrace courageous candor.
Enter the 60-second rule. Bottom line first. Look, beating around the bush only spikes the receiver's anxiety, mostly because they usually already know something bad is coming. You've got to state the hard truth immediately, right within the first 60 seconds. Say something straightforward like, "Listen, this isn't the conversation I was hoping we'd have today, but I need to talk to you about your recent performance." Getting straight to the point drastically reduces their dread and sets a really clear, honest tone for the rest of the meeting.
The crucial takeaway here is to use the SBI framework as your go-to tactical tool. That stands for situation, behavior, and impact. First, clarify the situation at the 11 a.m. meeting. Then, describe the specific behavior. You interrupted your colleagues 3 times. And finally, state the impact, which made the team feel their input wasn't valued, completely stalling our project momentum. See how that works? It delivers direct, factual feedback incredibly quickly without ever attacking their character.
Which brings us to step 3. Listen actively. This is the pivot. You've delivered the tough news, and now we flip the dynamic entirely from confrontation to collaboration by just slowing down, asking a question, and closing our mouths.
This introduces this awesome concept of caring presence. What does that mean? It means being completely where your feet are, mentally and physically grounding yourself in the room and genuinely putting yourself in their shoes. Honestly, sometimes the absolute most important action a compassionate leader can take is to just sit in that uncomfortable, awkward silence, be fully present, and just hold space for the other person's reaction.
And once they do start talking, lean heavily into active listening. Nod, summarize their points back to them, ask clarifying questions, and acknowledge their feelings. This is literally the fastest way to uncover what's called the third story, that neutral, objective truth that sits somewhere right between your version of events and theirs. You have to hear them out without interrupting. You don't have to agree with everything they're saying, but they absolutely must feel heard if you're ever going to find that third story together.
And finally, step 4, plan and follow up, the resolution. This is where the magic happens, and we transition from just understanding the problem to actually co-creating a forward-looking solution.
Look, a difficult conversation that doesn't end with a concrete action plan is really just a venting session. You have to detail how you'll move forward by establishing crystal clear expectations together. Ask them directly what resources or training they need to hit those marks. And this is vital. Schedule a firm follow-up date before they even walk out the door. That establishes real accountability and ensures they leave feeling supported, not defeated. Plus, this single step guarantees you won't be dreading this exact same conversation a month from now.
Bringing this all full circle to the core idea of human leadership, doing hard things humanely actually raises trust, improves collaboration, and skyrockets loyalty. When you lean into the discomfort and you choose to lead with compassion instead of avoidance, you're showing your team that you've got their backs, even when the chips are down.
I am going to leave you with one final, incredibly powerful mantra to remember the next time you feel the urge to run away from a tough talk. Clarity is kindness. Ask yourself, are you avoiding that difficult conversation for their comfort or for yours? By preparing the facts, speaking directly, listening actively, and co-creating a plan, you aren't just managing conflict, you are fundamentally elevating your entire team's culture. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I challenge you to step into your very next difficult conversation with both courage and clarity.